actually been joined by somebody who's actually going to open our eyes today. And the question that we'll be asking are really interesting for all of our young audiences who are out there. You really need to sit down with a pen and paper and listen to this gentleman carefully, because he happens to be an investment advisor, and he is Mr. Abdul Rehman Najam. Najam bhai, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Walaikum salam. Shazad bhai, how are you? And a very warm welcome to all our guests. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'm really excited to discuss this important topic today.
Kaifa halik? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Kaifa hal, Abdul? Kaifa hal?
I'm not very good with Arabic, but I hear you.
It's okay. Ana Bilkhay, so I was just trying to ask you whether how you are, but it's okay, wonderful. First of all, Abdul, let's get it sorted. Rich versus poor mindset, please elaborate on that. Who's got a richer mindset and who's got a poor mindset, and how?
I think this is the perfect setting, like you were discussing in the introduction. Isha mentioned that she is waiting for her salary. So even in developed economies, this is very prevalent that if you have to bifurcate between the rich mindset and the poor mindset, the poor mindset is that they would exchange their time for income. So basically, they would be relying on their salary, and whenever they would get their salary, the first thing they would do is do all their expenses and have nothing behind. What the rich do is first they accumulate assets, and then those assets, when they create value, then they do their expenses. So if you want to transition from the poor mindset to the rich mindset, the most important thing to do is to accumulate assets. And if you want to do this in Pakistan or around the world, the number one asset class which everyone can participate and which has given the highest returns over 100 years in US, over 25 years in Pakistan, there is no match for this asset class, and that is Pakistan Stock Exchange. Through Pakistan
Pakistan.
Stock Exchange,
But
yes,
don't
through
you think
Pakistan
that
Stock
that we
Exchange,
really need to have a better understanding of where to invest and how to invest and which stocks to invest, and that's something that we certainly have no idea about or no clue about. So how can
I
we
would
gain that
actually like
idea?
to add on to the question that what is the best thing to invest into? Is it gold? Is it assets? Is it property? What are the things
That's
that we
what he's
need to
saying,
dive
stock
into?
exchange.
Oh, yes. Oops.
Yeah.
So, perfect question, Isha. Again, whenever you have some savings, and this is really important in Pakistan. In countries where there is high inflation, if you are saving, you are basically making a loss. The purchasing power of your savings will decline over time. And the first thing you have to do, especially in high inflation countries like Pakistan, is to convert those savings into investments. And now to your questions, when you have to make those investments, there are two types of assets in the world. One are cash producing assets, and the other are dead assets. Dead assets are merely can rise as a matter of fluctuation. Like you are assuming that someone else will come and bid a higher price for that asset. That asset itself does not produce anything. In this category, our famous Pakistanis really love to invest in land. So land, gold, all these assets come under dead assets. And cash producing assets are like companies investing in companies, and the best platform for that is Pakistan Stock Exchange. And like Shehzad said, whenever people start investing, they think that which company to invest in, which company will give them the best return. The best thing about stock market is you do not need to know this answer to start your investment journey. There are multiple companies, and you can easily invest like 5 to 10% of your portfolio in each company. And while you are doing that, what you are actually doing is becoming equal partner with top businessmen of Pakistan. So here, like people who are earning a salary, what they are dreaming is they want to earn like Muhammad Ali Tabba, like Mr. Mansha. But when you buy shares in their company for long term, their profit and your profit is actually equal. What people usually do is they buy shares, and then after some months, for some reason, if they decline, they sell. If you do this, this is called trading, then you won't become equal partners with top businessmen. Then you are merely competing against other sharks in the market, and chances are very high that you will lose your investment. But if you do it for the long term, returns are amazing. Just for reference, like Isha is starting her investment journey. So if you start today and save and invest 10,000 rupees per month for next 15 years and increase that amount by 10% every year as your salary grows, you would have saved approximately 38 lakh rupees in the next 15 years. But just by investing in the Pakistani stock market, this wealth would compound to almost 1.5 crores. And if you do this for 25 years, for someone who's very young, who's recently started his career, they would save approximately 1.2 crores in the next
Oh my
25 years
God.
throughout their career. But then when this thing compounds and increases over time, your final wealth would be around 10 crores. Now tell me if you have anything better than this.
Yeah.
That certainly motivated me a lot.
And all you have to do is just invest 10,000 rupees monthly and increase that by 10%. I think that's wonderful, which is why, in addition to this, now because you've given a complete solution and people who want to do it should actually do it as well. Let me complete this first of all, because there's so much uncertainty that we've gone through as Pakistanis. Unfortunately, there's been a political turmoil. We have seen how the stock markets have been crashed. We have seen how, we're still looking for foreign direct investments. Alhamdulillah now, shukr alhamdulillah, under the auspices or the leadership of the Mian Muhammad Shahbaz Sharif Saab, the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, we have seen things settling down. How do you think that all of these factors actually play a role on the stock market? Because we've been talking about stock market for now. Please go ahead.
So, Shazad, these things are really important in the short term. But what we have seen so far in last, let's say, 25, 26 years, we have had multiple prime ministers, almost all political parties have had a chance. We have seen military rule as well. But in all these 25, 26 years, if you had invested 1 lakh rupees on 1 January 1999, last 25 years have not been very good for the Pakistan economy. But this 1 lakh would have converted into 1 lakh 20,000. So despite all the turmoil and everything, the businessmen, they know how to convert their investments and make a good profit on that. And if we talk about the recent uncertainty, the number one thing on everyone's mind is Trump tariffs and how it's going to play out. Uh, what basically tariffs are, they make things expensive. So when things become expensive, let's say US puts tariffs on Chinese goods, uh, things they are importing from China will become expensive. And when people have to buy more expensive things, then their purchasing power decreases and the growth of the global economy will decline. The result of global economy declining is that all the raw materials in the world which are used for production, because the production levels also decline, the prices of oil, coal, gas, all these things decrease. And Pakistan is a large importer of all these things. So we actually benefit from all this. Our current account deficit, our number one issue, actually declines. Our inflation gets under control. And for that reason, interest rates also decline. And this has been the theme
Exactly.
in the last 1 to 2 years as well. Our economy has stabilized, interest rates have almost halved. So it's a perfect scenario for someone who's trying to start their investing journey.
Exactly. So,
And
so, so this perfectly sums it up as well. But now let me bring you to another intersection where, how we as audiences or we as people or consumers or laymen do not understand that you shouldn't really be having, money in your account, but rather assets which can actually be liquidated at any point of your time. So may it be gold, you take it to the jeweler, he'll give you the money there and then as well. So how do you think that the rich and the poor mindset versus how the poor mindset will always go for cash, 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 and the rich mindset will certainly go for assets which are going to go up in value in years to come?
So for reference, let's see what different asset classes have done. So if you had, let's say, 1 lakh rupees 25 years ago, what the poor mindset would do is just save that amount. So that would still be 1 lakh rupees and it would be only worth approximately 10,000 rupees because the prices of an average good has increased by 10 times in this time. Someone who knows a little bit about financial literacy, what they would do is either buy a dollar or put it in the bank. So they would feel that these two assets would conserve their value. But even these ones have only increased, dollar has increased by only 5 times in the last 25 years. And if you had put this amount in the bank, you would have still had only 10 lakh rupees, which is the actual value of that amount today. So we wouldn't have earned anything. What the rich mindset does is he invests in different asset classes. So the number one asset class, if you had invested, like I mentioned earlier, 1 lakh would have converted into more than 1 crore. Other asset classes include gold. Gold, if you had bought 1 lakh rupees, it would have been worth approximately 50 lakh rupees. So in Pakistan, these two asset classes have given the highest returns. Gold majorly because all the central banks are buying it for the last 1 to 2 years since US put sanctions on Russia. So other countries like China are also fearful that we might face this scenario in the future. So they are bidding up the price of gold. But now it is going into a territory where I wouldn't advise anyone to buy it because it might fall substantially in the coming months as global uncertainty reduces. But stocks are one thing which US investors, UK investors, I saw this firsthand in my university, in University of Warwick. When I went there for my BSc, people who were studying over there, 18, 19 years old, they were already investing for last 2, 3 years. So you see the rich
Exactly.
mindset in the developed
Yeah,
economies as well.
exactly. And thank you so much, Abdul Rahman, for actually saying that and sharing that as well. I think over here in Pakistan, it becomes challenging to even invest in dollars because वो आपको डॉलर इतने ज़्यादा देते नहीं है, वो उतने ही देते हैं जितने
Exactly.
आपको ज़रूरत हो. But in addition to this, so obviously you've spoken about Pakistan Stock Exchange. Do you think we as Pakistanis should actually have a very uh, expanded horizon, and let's talk about US's stock exchange or stock exchange world over? Do you think that we have a chance of investing into those stock exchanges while being in Pakistan, and how can we do that if we can?
It's a limited scope because of our low dollar reserves. We do not allow dollar outflow that much, even though legally there is a limit of $100,000 per year. But when you go into the execution, there are many hurdles. But the good thing is, why do you want to do that? Even if you compare the returns of S&P 500, the prime flagship index of US stock market, the returns are very similar to PSX in the longer term. And
And it's
PSX
safer
actually
as well.
beat by a very small margin over last 25 years. So people usually associate stock market with the economy, and it's true in the short term. But in the long term, all these assets are actually cash producing assets. Just imagine when you become a partner in a company and for some reason there is devaluation. Do you think that plant that they have, which produces millions of tons of products, that is actually rupee based? It's imported and its price is in dollars. So whenever there is devaluation, after some time, they also adjust their prices and their profits also increase.
You have definitely enlightened us with these interesting facts. All right, so my next question is very critical, as I feel like we all have that one uncle or that distant relative who has been involved in an investment scam. So can you please highlight any red flags or any schemes that we should be aware of to make sure that our life savings do not fall into the drain?
And Abdul Rahman, before you actually start giving your answer, I need to say it in Urdu कि जब तक लालची जिंदा होता है ना तब तक धोखा होता रहता है.
Oh, wise words.
Bilkul, my whole red flag would be based on knowledge. For this, for all the people who have a little bit of financial literacy, they have read about famous investors. Even the number one investor in the world, Warren Buffett, if you see his track record, his monthly return is around 2%. So he has made approximately 20% per year, which translates to about 2% per month. The number one red flag, which should stop you from investing in anything, is if someone is claiming more than that. So usually what they do is instead of saying "Okay, we will give you fixed return of 50%, they tell you that we will give you monthly return of 5%. And the non-financial literate mind just thinks it might be just possible 5% a month, they might be doing something and it might be possible. If you look at the track record of top investors, anything beyond 2% per month is just a full scam. It's just not possible. It just not fits into the financial realities of the world. So this is the first thing you should uh, enlighten yourself that anyone claiming more than 2% a month is a straight up lie. Secondly, then you should always interact with people who have local registered companies. If you are, there are some forex scams which say we are registered in Bali or some other kind of country, but you don't have any power to do anything with that company and go into that jurisdiction and file a claim. So any company you are interacting with should be registered with SECP. I think if you do these two things, you will be safe from scams.
Nahin, thank you for
Exactly what that's
highlighting that and
wonderful, yeah.
motivating me again.
Exactly. But thank you so much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you, and we would like to have you in days to come as well to speak about, you know, all of these things. But very quickly, I think, Isha, I'm going to actually kind of mention it to you as well, and Abdul Rehman, since you're out there, because that's one thing that my father has always said. And you know, once again in Urdu, कि अगर आपने जो investment की है, वो investment कम हो और प्रॉफिट ज़्यादा हो, वहाँ से भी भाग जाए. अगर आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट की, इन्वेस्टमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा हो और प्रॉफिट बहुत ही कम हो, तो वहाँ से भी भाग जाए. You know, so I think it really needs to make sense and people need to understand as well. So Abdul Rahman, do you think that this is a fair advice on behalf of my father?
Oh, it's very articulate as well as full of experience. One thing I would like to highlight is the number one thing we have noticed which actually stops people from investing is they do not understand the company they are investing in. So they just interact with the price. Whenever the price is declining, they feel something bad has happened. And for that, we have seen this firsthand as well. Whenever you explain the company in detail to any investor, then their conviction level increases. Now, then they are ready to invest their savings. So, for that, I would
Exactly.
recommend everyone to check out our YouTube channel. We have made detailed videos of almost all top companies of Pakistan. So, that will
I
give
think
you an
that's
insight of what you are becoming a partner in.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And the annual reports are available online as well. So, you, ladies and gentlemen, you can certainly go and check for the companies that you would want to invest in. But thank you so much, Abdul Rahman, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation.